What is up, nerds? Welcome back to episode 72 of the PP Pod. Happy birthday to my beautiful, amazing pickleball wife, the man, the myth, the legend, Justin. Happy birthday, big guy.
Wow, thanks. You know, this won't air on April Fool's Day, so people actually believe you. But yeah, my whole life, my birthday's on April Fool's Day, so my whole life, I've been like, yeah, today's my birthday. And people are like, ha ha ha, yeah, right, April Fool's.
Oh, boy.
Or this hasn't happened in a while, but definitely when I was younger, whenever I would get birthday gifts, they would just be gag gifts. It would just be like,
dang,
I would just open it, and it would be like a bag of dog shit or something.
It's like, hey, guys, like, it's my actual
April
birthday.
Fool's got you. I'm like, thanks, but this is my actual birthday.
Yeah, this is real. This is funny for you. Glad you enjoy that. Well, don't worry. I'll make up for it tonight. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, guys. We don't have a ton to talk about, but we got a lot to talk about, which is, typical. But we got a couple paddles we're going to run through. We're going to do a little an interesting topic that I think needs to be finally addressed. Something that we've been talking about for a long time, but the more I thought about it, the more I was like, let me bring this up on the podcast. It's an interesting topic. And then we'll talk March Madness, the Final Four, baby. Everybody's so excited. And then New Week, New Maine. And then Justin's got a very interesting NERDTOWN. Do you want to just give him a glimpse of the topic? You want to tease him, or you just want to?
Well, it's I mentioned it, I think, last podcast. Oh, you did?
That's right, yeah.
People did comment about it, and I talked about it on the Discord. So it's not a secret, but we're going to talk about stomping paddles. And if you don't know what that is, good for you. So
stomp it, baby.
But yeah, I think it's not exactly what people expect, and it's also not the information that has been propagated so far. Maybe not be correct.
So what you're saying is paddle reviewers can be wrong, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, but
100%.
No, I mean, it's not actually. This isn't the original paddle reviewer who put out the video on Stomping removed that video.
Yes, yeah.
But now it's still been going on, and other people are talking about it. Yeah,
Martin
on the Discord
something
or whatever.
Gruger or Gruinger. I don't know what his name is, but I've seen him play. Good player, by the way, and he does also have good reviews. But yeah, I've heard about him saying it in a couple of his videos that he does to everyone. But anyway, what is his name? Martin what?
Grunin or something like that.
Grunin. Okay. Yeah. I knew it was a interesting name. But all right, dude. Well, let's jump into it. We're going to talk about a couple of paddles today. We got some new paddles from SENS, I believe is how you say it. But this is it right here, the SENS Rad. It's got a couple of other denoting names on it. 700E. Yeah, but this is a new paddle, Gen 4, if you want to call it that, but basically floating core, EPP in the center with, it's actually pretty interesting. I'll let Justin kind of jump into the how it's done, but basically it's a floating EPP core, but in a different way. So do you want to run through the construction, or do you want me to do it?
I mean, based on the render, let's just say that.
Yes.
We haven't actually seen an X-ray. We haven't seen a real photo. We haven't dissected it.
It's important to note, don't always trust the render.
Right. Very now, important. This render might be perfectly accurate, but we've seen a lot of them, and this isn't a mark against SENS. We've just seen a lot of them not accurate. So this is just based on the render. But yeah, the render has it as there's a ring of lower density foam around the outside, like typical, except for this one has holes or voids all through that ring. And then the center floating core, the island, if you want to call it, is actually like a sandwich of 3 layers that also have voids in them. Yeah. So it's doing a little of everything. And
which is kind of similar to what Groovin's been doing, but also similar to what Vatic has been doing, but also similar to what Carbon's doing. So like bunch of different things molded together, which is intriguing. It's
the shape is good. It's a full 16.5 by 7.5. I measured it. It's a unique shape. It's not like a catalog shape. The handle length is good enough. The handle, as pros and cons for me. Okay,
pretty sick, man.
It's the shape and the feel of it is actually quite nice, but the girth, the circumference is probably like a solid 4.3, 4.25 to 4.3. It's
gave me butterflies right there.
I did pull the grip back to see because I was like, this feels kind of good. And it is like, it's almost like a fully molded handle, but it's more like a clamshell design. Like there's a fully molded piece that goes on top, not just like a pallet, but also around the sides, on both sides like this.
Gotcha.
And it snaps together. So it feels nice. It's just a little bit big for my preference on the circumference, probably for most people's preference. And then the edge guard is intentionally shaped a little different than most on the market. You might not be able to pick this up on camera, but it's concave in the center. So there's a little cut out on the center, and from the owner they said that was to reduce weight on the edge guard, and they say use weight where they want. So I haven't hit it yet. I just got it yesterday and haven't hit it. Bounced a ball on it. It felt pretty solid just from bouncing a ball on it, but hey, that only tells a very, very small part of the story. So but you played with it, so you talk about the playability, and I'll play with it, and maybe we'll revisit it later.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, you're very well aware, girth has never really bothered me too much. So, this is not anything crazy for handles. But it's an intriguing paddle for sure. It's quite powerful. There's a few things about this paddle that didn't jive with me just because it's my personal preferences. So I'll talk about my personal preferences and then just objectively how it performed. I didn't love how soft and dampened and bouncy it felt. Just felt a little... It was weirdly lively, but weirdly muted, if that makes sense.
Giving you GX2 vibes?
Yes, I was going to say it's very reminiscent of that in a totally different, feel spectrum. But... yeah, it's a little unpredictable at first. It's hard to kind of dial in your larger strokes. The short strokes pretty easy to do in terms of dinking. Resets weren't too much of a trouble, but returns and dries really took a game or two for me to be like, okay, this is how I need to hit these, because it's trampoline-y, which some people really will like. So objectively, the performance is good. It shapes the ball well. It's very dwelly. It's definitely on the softer, denser side. It's not very hollow like we've seen with a lot of these floating cores. That could be something to do with whatever the foam is that's sandwiched in between the EPP, or could have something to do with just the type of foam that they're using in general. But I did enjoy the paddle. The shape is unique. It's actually one of those shapes that kind of tapers both at the top corners and the bottom corners. So if you measure it, it's really like 7.3 at this point that I'm pointing to, which is right where the corner is starting to flatten out. And same thing at the top corners, right when they start to flatten out.
It's almost like a squircle. It's big oval rectangle, but more rectangle than oval.
Yeah, and instead of being straight like this, it kind of just barely curves a little bit, which is something almost no one will ever notice, and almost no one will ever have an issue with it. But it's just something that I did notice. But paddle looks very nice.
Yeah, it looks good. I like the styling is a good mix of minimal but a little pop.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I do think the edge guard is interesting. I don't know why I like it. The feel of it feels good. It's different than most other edge guards, obviously, in terms of the shape. And it felt like I liked the way it felt on my second hand on my two-hand backhands, which is something I didn't think I would notice at all. But, it's very small nuances that some people will either love or hate. Can't remember what the price is on this, but if I'm not mistaken, it was over 200. Is that correct? Let me look real quick.
Check it. I think it was high-ish. Let's call it higher than 180, but you should check it.
Maybe he did not send it. I could just be making that up. So I don't see a price on this.
I'm not sure it's even available to order just yet.
No, not available to order just yet, from what I gathered as well. But nonetheless,
you guys love how much prep we do.
Yeah, we killed this, guys. We do approximately 1 to 2 minutes of prepping for this. We talk
outside
about what are we talking about? Outside of NERDTOWN, yeah.
Sometimes the NERDTOWns like this one specifically, I had to do hours of actual work. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, just wing it, bro. You know, dude, just have fun.
That's right. We had a hilarious comment. I think it was last week. It was like, it's funny how y'all do so little prep and still.
So you look like you roll out of bed and start the podcast.
Yeah. That shit was so funny.
That's pretty much what happens.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there is obviously a lot of brainstorming throughout the week that I think about for the next pod and whatnot. But yeah, we're not gonna sugarcoat it, guys. We just fucking go after it. But yeah, SENS cool paddle. We'll give you some more info once the release date gets set in. But just one that I thought was worth mentioning and talking about before it actually comes to fruition. So, all right, Gherkin, the G-Spot trainer, has a new competitor for the most interesting name in pickleball. We have the Slamopus. Man, every time
this is difficult. This is going to be really hard to have the paddle called Slamopus.
Oh man, every time somebody
with Lewis talking about it.
Yeah, it's people were like, "What paddle is that?" Because it's got this silver edge guard, and I'm like, "It's the Slamopus." And everybody was always like, "What? The Slamopus? The what? The Slamopus?" And
what?
Slamopus. It is an elongated shape paddle. This is an Amazon brand, so they sell directly on Amazon. They don't really give much information about what the actual core is, but it's 100%.
Which model is that one?
This is the Core X. My bad. Yep. Slamopus Core X. This is like their premium paddle that they offer. I think it's $159 or $169 on Amazon. The thing about Amazon paddles is there's one thing that makes a strong case for selling your paddles on Amazon: 2-day shipping, which I think is a pretty awesome thing, especially
if you're a Prime member, like, you can just return stuff.
Yes. So it is an intriguing value proposition. It's not a super cheap paddle. There are cheaper MPP paddles, the enhanced turbo to be exact, and I think the Aerocyclone actually is cheaper than this, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, this is it's a good paddle. I would compare it very, very similarly to the Luz Inferno, which is, it has a cult following. Like, people love that paddle. People would say the same exact thing about this paddle if you just put Luz's logo on it. They'd say, yep, it's a great paddle. Gets good spin.
You think it hits really hard?
Hits pretty damn hard. And if you like MPP, you're going to have a great time with this paddle. Would I recommend it above any of the other MPP paddles? Probably not.
When you can get an MPP turbo for $99.
Or if you want the extreme of power, you can get the Aerocyclone for a very similar price. So it's like, this is a good paddle. Definitely one, if someone said, "Hey, I bought this paddle," I'd be like, "Oh, that's a good paddle. Like, that was, a good buy." I think if you like silver edge guards, which, dude, they probably had to do years of R&D on this to get that silver edge guard.
At least $10,000 in R&D.
At the very least. But if you know, you know. I don't really have anything negative to say about this paddle. It's good. I did thought I broke it, but I think I just hit the edge guard, and the edge guard felt very weird. I thought it cracked at the throat at first.
Oh, wow.
And then I kept playing with it 4 or 5 more games, and it was fine. So I think I just hit a really awkward shot with it. But
that shot was the Slamopus. You slammed it.
Let me just tell you, I don't call this the Slamopus. I call it something else. But we are not going to say that because I don't think I'd have any more viewers. But anyway, good paddle. Definitely one that is high performative. If you like MPP and you want an Amazon paddle that you can buy, have in 2 days, and it's, quick, easy, and no fuss, you get to return it if you don't like it, definitely would say this is one to check out if those are your very niche needs and wants. So, cool paddle. Thank you, Slamopus. What a name. You brought me so much joy in the past couple days. All right.
Before we move on,
yeah,
I just got to call you out. Look, I set up shelves in my set, and then this fucking guy, look, next week, now he's got shelves.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, I messed up.
Hey.
Keep going. Keep
going. Okay. Because, oh God, here comes all the metals probably.
Sorry, man. I forgot to put this right here. Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Something like that.
Hey.
Oh, wait.
You can't even see here we go. The nerdy turny belt, I need to probably put in a more prime position.
Yeah, that needs more real estate.
More real estate. But all that to say is, if the OG viewers remember when we had bad sets and it was like at an angle real close, it was all red light. And then I was like, you know what? I built this desk here. And I was like, cool, I'm going to change up my shot a little bit. And then I changed it to something similar to this. But I did this while Lewis stayed in the vampire cave. Mm-hmm. And then basically we got a bunch of shit in the comments and everyone was like, you can just change the set. It throws off the vibe completely. Now you look like you're in totally different. And I was like, okay, fine. And so I had to go back to a worse shot. But then lo and behold, then here comes Lewis. You know what? You were right. Let's go to the desk shot. So now we can show stuff. So just want everyone to know that he's the videographer, but I'm the driving engine behind the set design, apparently.
You're smart. I'm dumb. You're handsome. I'm not.
Yeah. Maybe I'm actually just playing into this pickleball wife thing a little bit too much if I'm the interior designer.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, for anybody who is listening, if you want to check out our new sets, inspired by, all of it was thought, by me. I'm glad I brought all this together.
I didn't even get the shelves for the set. I got the shelves because this tiny room has a lot of stuff in it, dude. And
yeah, as soon as you got the shelf, I was like,
some stuff.
Damn, that looks good. And I had I don't know, 70 paddles stacked up against my wall. Yeah. I was like, I need a shelf. I just need, and then it'll balance ours out. It'll make it look the same. We'll be cute. We'll be matching, just like we always do when we're matching outfits when we go on dates. All right. But that's really it, man. We're going to move on from paddles to paddle topics, and then we'll move on. Or should we do March Madness then the paddle topic?
Up to you.
I think we should just go straight to March Madness. You're
the host of the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know why. We'll move on to March Madness, baby. It's the Final Four, and then we'll go on to a pressing question about power paddles. All right. For anybody who did not tune into last week's episode, if you want to catch up, go back, watch the March Madness segment. We are at the Final Four. All right. So here's the spoiler alert. If you don't want to see exactly where we are right now, go back right now. All right. We're moving on. We have the number 1 seed going up against the number 4 seed. So the number 1 seed is the Bread and Butter Loco. Number 4 seed is the 11-6-24 Power 2 series. That's one side of the bracket. The second side is the Selkirk Boomstick, which is the number 3 seed, versus the 7 seed. We got an upset here. The Spartus P1, baby. All right, which side do you want to start with first? Loco and 11-6-24?
Let's start with
loose edge cards?
Let's start with the Boomstick because we'll just save the number 1 seed. We'll start with we'll call this the loose side of the bracket. This edge guard's coming off. This edge guard's coming off. Just kidding. Just giving you guys a hard time. Both of these brands have been taking care of their customers, and both have. These are early versions of both of these paddles, and both have apparently since done better with the loose edge guards.
Yes. All right. Well, let's just kind of go from top to bottom. Your thoughts on these two paddles, and then we'll kind of go through our picks. So.
We haven't really disagreed this whole time.
We haven't.
So I think it's coming. I'm curious. Okay.
We'll see.
Here's the quick thoughts. Boomstick is basically like a benchmark paddle these days. It's one of the most popular paddles. rightfully so in the market.
That's a great way to put it.
Did a lot of good R&D on things that people have copied, and anyway, just did it really well. It's expensive.
Yep,
but
very expensive.
They do have great distribution. You can get it anywhere, everywhere, whatever. And they have 2 shapes, and both shapes are very good for what they are. They have a really good standard / wide body shape and a really good elongated shape. I think personally that it looks really good. This is an advantage of Selkirk's and Finnegrette. They are able to do full color faces and still have spin. So I think it looks great. And they do have what we'll call like long lasting spin generation. Maybe not permanent, but 3 times longer than a traditional paddle, which I think is pretty true in our testing.
Yeah.
But let's not call it permanent, but 3 times longer is still a huge improvement. So that's all my thoughts about the Selkirk. Playability obviously is great, but you're going to want to like something stiff and hollow and high power.
Very high power.
Spartus P1, only available right now in the hybrid shape, and has other shapes coming, but I think while approved, you can't just get them just yet. They have the Permagrit, which is the feature that's really gotten it this far in the bracket, which is more of a true permanent grit, like more than long lasting. I mean, in the testing so far, the spin does not degrade really much, if at all.
Yeah, I mean, my face feels from literal top to bottom identical. And there's no way I've played less than 50 games on this. No way. I would imagine I'll probably played close to 60 to 70 with this.
I'm probably 50 plus games too, for sure, because I was like half-ass main in this paddle for a minute. And so, available right now in this hybrid shape. Not the greatest hybrid shape, not horrible. It's around $200, which I think is a reasonable price for something with this tech. The playability is very good. Elite spin, good enough power and pop, like pretty good. And the control's nice. The feel is softer. So what else? Anything else I'm missing about this one?
No, it's just a very easy power paddle to play with as well. The boomstick, while predictable, is going to take a lot of time to dial in. We're really looking at 2 opposite ends of the power spectrum. I wouldn't say that this is low tier by any means in terms of the Spartus.
It's kind of opposite.
The feels
denser. And I will say that maybe the boomstick is easier for various people who like different weights and swing weights to get along with, because you can get the wide body, you can get the elongated. Even the elongated is pretty low swing weight.
Yeah.
And because of the MOI, the boomsticks might have still either one of or the largest sweet spot on the market. It's like huge. So
it is big.
You really don't need to like add weight. But if you're someone who doesn't particularly enjoy heavier paddles, the P1's tough because it's pretty heavy and high swing weight stock. Not crazy, but
if I'm not mistaken, these are very similar swing weights in their stock form, the boomstick and the P1 hybrid. So the boomstick elongated and the P1 hybrid.
And the boomstick will have a higher twist weight, even though it's an elongated, and a bigger sweet spot.
Yeah.
At the same stock
117 on average for the Spartus P1 and 118 on average for the boomstick. Right.
But you're looking at like a 7 twist weight on the boomstick and like a 6.3 on the Spartus. Yeah. So the Spartus potentially you might want to add weight, but it's a higher stock weight. All that to say is it's just something worth mentioning.
116.8, 6.6 was my model. I know that other people have.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Pretty sure I've had one of the higher twist weights.
That's a really high twist weight. Mine was 6.3.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah, solid. So that's just worth mentioning. Okay. All right. What do you think?
So here's the real question.
Wait, just to renew for people who didn't watch last week, we are saying how we're picking these is not based on, it's just based on how much would we recommend them? Like how ready are we to recommend either of these paddles?
Yeah.
And how many like people would the recommendation fit also matters, because you have to be willing to like recommend it to a lot of different people, different play styles, different all that. So go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So one shape with borderline elite performance versus 2 shapes with borderline elite performance. One is $135 $5 cheaper. For me, if this boomstick was like $250, I don't really think there'd be anything on the market that would be... There's a few paddles on the market that would be a better recommendation, but very few paddles I think could compete with this if it was $250 in terms of just my recommendation. This P1 has elite spin. It's $135 cheaper. I think that as much as a great performer as the boomstick is, I think the fact that this is cheaper and probably gonna be more friendly for a lot of players in terms of power, controllability, spin generation, and then just price, I think I would give the edge to the P1. It's one of my most highly recommended paddles at the moment. But if we're going head to head on performance as well as, how I would recommend these, I still think I'm gonna take the P1. I still think I'm gonna take it. It's the boomstick is a very hard paddle to beat in terms of performance, but with the longevity of the permagrit texture and the decent hybrid shape, I still think this is probably the paddle that I would tell people to pick ahead of the boomstick, just because of price. All right, what do you think?
We disagree.
He's a
I was going to pick the boomstick.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah. It's $333, but it's lifetime warranty. It will last a long ass time. I think the shapes and the balance and the swing weights are significantly better. Mm-hmm. Like, especially if you're just going to play a paddle stock, which, let's be real, most people do. Maybe not most of our viewers, but most people do. I think the boomstick is better stock. I think it looks significantly better. Boomstick has multiple colorways now. It's readily available, by the way. And I know we say 333, but if you know a wholesaler or something, you can get them for less than that. Mm-hmm. And so you can get them a little less than that. And it's just, sure, it had loose edge guards and QC issues at the beginning, just like the Spartus is now, but the boomstick is further along, and I'm pretty sure they've solved most of those. Whereas the Spartus, I think, is still definitely experiencing a lot of that, and it's maybe a little bit slower to get a replacement. And so right now, take this exact equation and push it 3 months in the future. Maybe the elongated is out and the standard's out for the P1, and they've dealt with their QC issues a little bit in a way that makes me feel more confident. Then it probably swings me the other way. But right now, if I was going to recommend to somebody and, they're trusting me for my recommendation, I'd be like, just get a boomstick. You can't go wrong.
Damn. I didn't think that you would say that. I guess I can understand.
This is a really tough one, by the way.
Edge guards,
really tough. And
I
don't love the shape. And like I said, the balance, I think, is maybe not ideal. If you're someone who likes a heavier paddle, sure, it's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So we can go with your pick, though. You're the host. That's just my piece. Or what do we do? Do we flip a coin or what?
Happy wife, happy life. Here's the thing.
I mean, it's super close.
You take the longevity of their grit away and you compare just performance. Obviously, the boomstick has higher performance.
But you can't take that away from the P1. That's like the defining characteristic.
Yeah, but if we're at a point to where you pick one, I pick the other, I think we just have to say, hey, which one is the better overall performer? And that's what needs to go through. And if people are going to ask me, hey, which one overall, top to bottom, performs better? Yeah, the boomstick, it performs a little better. It has more power, more pop. It's relatively easy to start to predict and become a paddle that you can count on and not have any random jumps of power, which is probably the strongest part of the paddle, because it's very hard to make a super powerful paddle that is also very predictable and reliable and consistent. So
the sweet spot's just huge too. I mean,
sweet spot's huge,
especially on the wide body. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right, I'd recommend the P1 more, but we got 1-1 performance head to head.
Look, we can flip a coin.
Boomstick's higher. No, we're going boomstick. All right, because it's the truth. The truth is the performance is slightly higher on the boomstick.
And the Infinigrid does last a good while.
It does.
Not forever.
Yeah.
But a good while.
I would say this is almost like an upset for me. You know?
Dude, it was kind of an upset, by the way, for me. Like, I didn't expect myself to pick the Selkirk until I started going through all this stuff.
Yeah, it's a pretty there's a reason why you see boomsticks everywhere. Selkirk has made paddles forever, and this is the first paddle in a very long time from Selkirk that you have seen people get and not immediately switch to the, something else. People always would buy the Power Airs and just switch.
You're going to buy a boomstick. Try to find it for less than $333. I think you can, because that is the biggest knock. The price is crazy. But yeah. Authorized dealers, things like that. I think you might be able to get it for a better price.
All right. On to the other side. This is a very intriguing matchup as well. We have the number 1 seed, the paddle of the year by virtually every single person who's ever reviewed a paddle, the Bread and Butter Loco. This is probably the most unanimous paddle of the year that has ever happened in my recollection. J2K, yeah, but none of like the big, reviewers, the Kitchen or none of them posted that as well. So
we call those media outlets.
Yeah, well, that's a much better term for that. So against the number 4 seed, the 11624 Power 2 series, which is kind of becoming just a super popular paddle. So I'll let you go first. Why don't you run us through?
This is the Azul Loco.
It's very good looking. And for everybody who knows, the Bread and Butter Nerdy Tourney V2 is coming, and I'll be using this for sure. Loco is so good.
Well, and I mean, the blue looks really good.
Blue does look good.
But I heard a little rumor actually that there's a pink Loco coming. So be on the lookout. We'll see.
Send me that.
We'll see.
Oh boy, I'll be playing with that immediately.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Daddy Doug, please.
All right. Yeah. So number 1 seed, Loco, all 3 shapes. Limited availability in that you better be on your shit if you want to get one because they come in and they sell out. I mean, you can get them. There's a ton out there. Like I see a lot of them, but you just have to pay attention and like know when the next batch is going on order. Go ahead. My
friend was telling me she was looking to buy her husband the Loco, and it happened to be like at 9:00 last Friday. And she was like, hey, I want to buy my husband the Loco, but I can't buy it. And she was like, I was like, basically, long story short, I was like, hey, they drop at noon. Go on their website immediately at noon if you want to buy one and purchase it. And then she bought it, and sure enough, I don't know how long, not long, but they sold out all that day. I was like, that is crazy that they still are selling out right now. With how many new paddles? It's insane.
Yeah, they're just keep ordering, and they can only get so many at a time. They order them, they put them up, they sell out. They order them, they put them up, they sell out. So you can get them, but you might have to wait a couple weeks. And it's not ideal. But anyway, that's just part of the equation here. We talked about it, with the other paddles too. But all 3 shapes, good shapes for, their hybrid elongated and a wide body that looks incredible, obviously, in really any of the colorways. The blackout, the original one that was cream, this blue one. Which is your
favorite?
Dude, I kind of like this blue one, like this in neon. But I sort of also like the OG, the cream.
Dude, no, I like the white, like the pre-production,
the
first ever Loco. Yeah. Man, I love that. But blue is probably my second favorite.
This little neon is setting off the blue pretty nice. But so anyway, all that to say is Bread and Butter always kills it with the looks. Performance-wise, look, this is another one of those, we'll call them benchmark paddles, just like the Boomstick. And this is obvious because anytime you hear a reviewer talking about a new paddle or a group of paddles or this or that, what does it get compared to? The Loco and the Boomstick.
Loco and the Boomstick. Is it Loco power or is it Boomstick power?
Well, this is it's market defining for the past, since really November. So, and there's a reason for that. And it was, paddle of the year. The performance is great. The right amount of pop and power. It's not crazy. It doesn't put you in trouble, but damn, it's enough.
Yeah.
You know, spin is good. Feel kind of strikes that balance that a lot of people like. Still stiff and hollow, but less so than the boomstick. So it's not like super offensive to people who don't like that. Yeah. You know, everything else is just like, it's all good. The price is good. For a top tier paddle, we're talking like under $200 after code. So, you know, can't complain. Versus
it's $179 after code. It's under $180. Yeah. So it's a good, very good price. Loco's
you
legit,
can say a lot
bro.
of the same stuff about this Power 2. It's just now a few months later. Look, all three shapes, $200 after code. The shapes are good, and the performance is really good. The right amount of pop and power, more than enough. Great sweet spot. The spin is excellent, elite tier. You know, maybe the drawback here is that it's only UPA certified, not USAP. But, you know, the inverse can be said for this. This is only USAP, which is more usable for most people, but not UPA. And the availability has been really good. I mean, it just released, but you can get it. You can just go get them.
You can buy it right now.
Now I imagine that it might be in a similar situation as a Loco where it sells out and then you have to get it in batches.
Yeah.
But like right now you can just go get it. And yeah, just, man, this one's tough. So I think the two separators here are the certification, 11624 UPA only, which is limiting for some people. Like now me, by the way, I have 4 tournaments upcoming in the next 6 weeks. I checked with all the tournament directors and I've gotten answers from 3 of the 4 and the 4th I'm pretty sure, but I can use the UPA paddle at all of them. And they're not PPA tournaments. So which is actually pretty good. There's only one that I'm waiting on a response for and we'll see. But even if it's 3 out of 4, that's pretty good. And these are just small local tournament organizers. I had to ask 2 of them. One of them had it directly on there, that UPA and USAP. You won't have to deal with that with the Loco. Then the other big separator, of course, is hex grit. Like, this is legit permanent grit that does not wear off. The spin doesn't degrade, and the spin is elite. Like, it is the defining characteristic of playing with these paddles for sure.
By far.
You can hit shots that are not as easy with a raw carbon paddle, period. I mean, specifically for me, I mean, sure, it still spins a lot on drives and serves and big swings, but I feel like I always get decent spin there.
Yeah.
For me, it's the roll dinks, rolls and flicks out of the air. I mean, little roll drops, things like that, where it's kind of more of finesse, brushing type motion, maybe a faster swing brush. It's kind of shocking sometimes to spin. I mean, I saw Lewis put together a little compilation of his roll dinks with this paddle. Pretty disgusting. And I told you guys last week, I've been hitting flicks I like a flick. My flicks have been spinning so much that they're dipping and then kicking sideways a little bit. So, and they don't really do that most of the time with other paddles. And I haven't changed my mechanics. It's just adding that little bit of extra spin that's making it kick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as power level and everything else besides spin, I think these are kind of equal. I actually think the Loco has a slightly better sweet spot.
Yeah,
but
I could see
everything
that.
Else, yeah, Loco slightly better sweet spot. Power 2 better spin than not just the Loco, but really anything.
Yeah. But
power
virtually
and pop is very similar. I mean, the Loco's more, but not much more.
Yeah.
This is a very hard pick again. Honestly, up until the Final Four, this is easy.
Oh yeah, it was very easy.
But
I would say power-wise and pop-wise, I'd give the edge to the Loco. I'd say it's a pretty noticeable difference. I think the 11624 Vapor Power 2 series is in a very good spot, similar to what the P1 was. So it's kind of like that middle tier, just maybe creeping into the lower tier, which is a very good spot to be for a paddle for the masses.
Right.
So that's just something
Loco's
I wanted to...
mid-tier creeping into high tier, probably.
Yes. I would say it's probably like the first paddle in the high tier category for me. There's only a handful of high tier power paddles. All right, I'll pick first since you picked first last time.
Okay, go ahead.
So for me, these are, I mean, we just talked about it for 5 minutes. These are both unbelievably good paddles. Yeah, you cannot go wrong. If you bought either of these paddles, you will be happy with it as long as you're okay with having a very powerful paddle. The defining metric for me that puts it over the edge for my pick, the 11624, is the spin. And I tell people this, it's like since I started maining the 11624 Power 2 Series paddles, I've been telling people it's like pickleball on easy mode, because the spin that you can generate is almost unmatched. I don't think there's really anything that I can think of apart from maybe the P1, maybe the Hush. I haven't hit the Hush in a long time, but I do remember it being insane. But the fact that you can spin the ball so much is truly a humongous asset, because most people know this and don't really talk about this, but spin also equivalates to control. Gripping and grabbing the ball helps you control the location of the ball, not necessarily the depth of the ball, which a lot of people talk about in terms of control as just how deep and, shallow a ball goes compared to what they were expecting in terms of, distance that it traveled. Control can also be equated to the spin generation and the grab that the paddle puts on the ball. And for that reason, I would give the edge to the 11624 Power 2 Series, even though it's only UPA certified. So that's my pick.
I'll just go with you. I'm so torn. I'm so torn.
These
they're both amazing.
Insanely good paddles.
Yeah. So we'll pick the 11624. Man, yeah, it's super close. And like I said, the trade-offs are the trade-offs, but this spin of this feels like the future of pickleball, right?
Yeah.
This and the P1 spin that is both that good and doesn't go away feels like where the market is going and where it should go. And it's really fun for the consumer, for us. So for that reason, I'll pick it, because they're not really separated by much else.
Now, just to humor you, let's say these have the same hex grit. What are you picking?
Ooh, the Loco.
Yeah, I think the Loco edges it in overall performance, but the fact that it does not have the durable grit.
But would the Loco play the same with hex grit on it? We don't know. But assuming that it did.
Good question. Yeah. All right, we've made it to the finals. I didn't think I would say this, but we have the number 3 seed, the Selkirk Boomstick, going against the 4 seed, the 11624 Power 2 Series. All right, we've talked about these ad nauseum, basically.
What's the 1 and 2 seed again? The Loco and?
The Loco and the Yola Pro 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just seeing who got upset along the way,
Which was basically the 17 seed, if you ask me. All right. So, what is your choice on these? I know mine. What do you got?
11624. We don't have to draw it out.
Yeah. 11624 is the winner of the March Madness PP edition.
They had the harder side of the bracket. I think I would have picked the Loco over the Boomstick.
I would have picked the Loco ahead of the Boomstick as well. Yeah.
The crazy part about this, and this wasn't planned, but last year we did a March Madness bracket, and the winner was the 11624 Power.
Damn.
This is Power 2. So clearly 11624 is onto something. They wait.
So Power 3.
They work on for a year. They're like, boom, so Power 3. Yeah, Power 3 incoming. But that's actually pretty crazy. I got to say, though, this year's bracket was way more competitive.
Oh, my God, dude.
It was
insane.
16 actually really good paddles.
Yeah.
And there were a couple that we could have easily included. There were a couple in the comments. I'm like, that probably should have been in there.
Yeah.
Like some of the 6-0 Coral, maybe, I think is the most notable one that we left out. Like high performance paddle that has some long lasting grit. And
yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't have won,
honest, bro.
But it probably deserved what?
Paddletech Honeyfoam, if that was in last year's, it would have won.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And that's not even in our top 16.
No.
Yeah, 6-0 Coral would have won last year. That didn't even make our top 16. So almost any of these 16 paddles would have straight up won last year. Yeah. So that shows you how much better paddles have gotten in the past year. So.
Would have probably won last year as well. Or it would have gone toe-to-toe with the... Yeah. True, yeah.
A cheaper version of it.
Shit.
Yeah, dude. Here it is. I mean, excellent paddles.
Yeah.
Excellent paddles. I mean,
for sure.
A lot of them were very good. All the final four were like exceptionally good elite paddles that if you have any of these, consider yourself a lucky pickleball player, you know?
Yep. It is you said it like towards the first few, it's an embarrassment of riches. But now it's like that, what you said a year or 2 years ago is almost like hilarious because it's not even remotely close to how good the performance is now. All right. Well, that's the March Madness 2026 edition. Congratulations to 11624 for winning.
By
2 years in a row, man.
Nothing for winning.
Yeah. You get one of these. Congrats, man. High five. Fist bump. Thanks for sending me your paddles. I love them. All right. Well, let's move on. This is the question that I kind of teased, but there's a common line from every single reviewer. It's like, this is a power paddle, but now with the Gen 4, the floating core foams, power is becoming controllable. And I've said it. Braden said it. Chris has said it. John said it. Every single reviewer has said it. And it got me thinking about this the other day when I was playing. I was like, are these actually more controllable, or are we just getting used to using power paddles? Because everything that comes out now is a power paddle. So Justin, I'll kind of leave you with that question, let you answer, and then I'll give my thoughts after, and we'll kind of see how they, how they compare.
Both. You just said it at the end of the last segment, right? Like we were talking about how much better paddles have gotten in the last year, not to mention 2 years, all that. And how they've gotten better is not just more powerful, although they have gotten more powerful. They've gotten better in that they have more spin. They have bigger sweet spots. That's the big one.
Yeah.
And people have, started to fine tune more of the kind of weighting and balance so that, they have like good twist weights, all this, for the most part, better than they used to. So I think all of those factors contribute to a power paddle today being easier to play with and easier to control than a power paddle from a year ago. Because at the time, the tech was like, take the gearboxes, for instance. They were like super high power paddles, one of the first. Yeah. But it was like, good luck with that sweet spot. Good luck with that twist weight, and good luck controlling it, because it's like, hit the center, get a rocket, hit 2 inches away, get a dud. Well, it's very hard to play consistently whenever, you have that variation. Now you have something like the boomstick, like we talked about, probably the biggest sweet spot in the market. And it hits freaking hard, which is hard to control sometimes, especially on resets or defense. But guess what? It hits freaking hard everywhere, pretty much. I mean, obviously at the edge, but
to a certain degree, of course.
That consistency of what to expect allows you to control it better. On top of that, you're right. We have changed as players. We've spent the last year playing with just power paddles mostly. So, of course, we've gotten better at dialing that in. And also, the game has changed, all that. And then we even play with a bouncier ball now. I play with a Lifetime only. Last night, I played with a Franklin for the first time in like 6 months. Oh, my God.
I want to talk about balls after this.
Dude.
I want to talk. Yeah. Go ahead.
Balls?
Yeah.
But so I sometimes have to test these prototypes, and some of them are essentially control paddles. We'll see if those ever make it to the market, but it's crazy. It is such an adjustment. So that just tells you how locked in we are on playing with power paddles only. Now I can adjust. It takes me a long time, but then once I adjust to like a control style paddle, I'm like, oh my God, this is way easier, dude. Drops, so easy. It's so easy. You have just like so much more margin. You can like swing big and like roll drop, and it's like you feel like dinks. But yeah, good luck in a hands battle these days.
Yeah.
Someone just speeds up at you, you counter it back at medium speed, and then they counter it with their power paddle. Good luck.
Gone.
So yeah, it's tough. But so yeah, I think it's both. But I do think that paddles have gotten easier to control, which to me just translates to more consistent, larger sweet spot.
Yeah.
So
my thoughts are, I think it's like 65% of the equation is attributed to us playing with power paddles consistently and regularly.
Yeah, I could see that. That's more important. Yeah.
For instance, like the Yola Pro 4. I remember when it first came out, the Yola Gen 3s, the Yola 3S. I could not control those. I'll pick that paddle up. Ain't no thing, bro. It's easy.
No.
Easy to me. Yeah. But I think the other 35%, what did I say, 65%, right? 65 and yeah. The other 35%, dude, I can't read, but I can barely do math.
You could read numbers, just not letters.
I can't read letters. That shit's hard. It's all jumbled up. No. So I think the other 35% is the fact that, yes, I do think that especially in the Gen 4 floating foam cores, they are more predictable. And what we saw originally with power paddles is they were super trampoline-y. And the Pro 4 is still a trampoline-y paddle. But I think the fact that it had a very high sweet spot, a very localized sweet spot, and even more so, add that to the Power Pro Elongated, I think that attributed to a harder time dialing in and predicting, a paddle's power output. Whereas now the sweet spot is elongated in the vertical axis. It's also widened in the horizontal axis. So you are getting a more consistent response or, exit velocity across the face. So you're not having these hyper drastic changes in, how fast the ball is exiting the paddle on different spots of the face. I felt like that made no sense, but I think you guys are with me. But
I don't know. I zoned out.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I think that it's a little bit of both, but I think it's more so to do with the fact that we are just all using power paddles. I don't necessarily think they've gotten
I agree.
tremendously easier at controlling, but I definitely think they've gotten more predictable. Which
we have a year-long adjustment period.
Yeah.
All of us.
But predictability can be translated to controllability. So I'm not, saying that that's not possible. All right.
What did you want to talk about balls?
All right. So I played with the Franklin yesterday. Bro,
Dude,
I played some of the
first time in months.
Pickleball I've played in a long time. I couldn't get anything right. I was popping up drops. I couldn't hit a drop.
You're like, how much do I have to hit this?
I could not hit a drop, bro. And I was like, is this harder to control? Am I just like going crazy that the Lifetime is like way more bouncy and faster than the Franklin? So we switched to a Lifetime immediately, bro. Magically. Oh, I could hit a drop. Wow. Who would have thought?
It's probably just what you're used to.
I think it's what I'm used to.
The Lifetime is faster.
But the Franklin feels lighter. It feels like a lighter ball.
I'm so happy you said that. I
don't know if it is.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Don't know if it is.
I don't think it is. But yeah, I don't know. And we were playing in the wind too yesterday. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, I don't know, dude. I mean, I know it's a me thing because I hadn't played with one in months. But yeah. And it wasn't even a super old one. But it felt so light. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Half the time I felt like I hit it as hard as I want, like on a return. And it was just like, it would just land in. And I'm like, that took like 10 years to get to your side. And then it still landed in. And then, but yeah, on drops, initially, I was just like leaving them all short, personally. But I was like, I also felt like I like couldn't feel the ball on the paddle. It felt so light. So then I was like hitting it a little harder and popping them up. And I was like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Yeah. And yeah, quote unquote, it spins more, it dips more. Sure, it does. But also because it feels like it's in the air forever because it's slow. Like, everyone's just driving or like speeding up in hands battles, but it felt like slow-mo. It was, I don't know. There was so many hands battles where we like laughed. It was a pretty long hands battle and we won it. My partner afterwards was like, bro, that was like a slow hands drill. I'm like, I know, but everyone was hitting it hard, but it was just like, gah, gah, gah. Here we go. Oh, maybe this one, maybe that one. Yeah. You know? So, oh man, I don't know. And it wasn't a bad ball. It didn't like do anything horrible. It was just like the adjustment period was crazy. It was also 90 degrees and windy. So
yeah. My issue was it felt so light and I couldn't gauge how much power I was putting onto it. Whereas like, this is my theory. This is, moron theory over here. but I think that the Lifetime is more weighty. It's a little stiffer feeling.
You and feel it on the face. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel it on the face, and it's almost like that weight or that feeling of weight is what kind of gives you a more predictable, easier to understand, stroke, if you will. So, our power output. I don't know, but I would love to hear y'all's thoughts in the comment section below. If y'all have played with both of those and you feel like one's different than the other, please tell us what y'all's thoughts are, because I was going crazy, bro. I was like, what the hell is going on? This should be the easier ball to drop.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah,
couldn't
500 miles away, I had the same exact experience. I went to open play for the first time in forever, played with the Franklin, and I was like, whoa. And then halfway through, I played with a group that I know, so we played with a Lifetime, and I was like, okay.
Back to
and I was
normal.
like switching paddles throughout the night, so I was like, what is going on with this paddle? But it wasn't the paddle. As soon as we switched to Lifetime, I could switch around paddles, and I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I know it is just what we've adjusted to.
We're dialed in. We're dialed in.
Yeah.
Good thing we're playing with the Lifetime in our tournament.
Yeah, so, and UPA paddles.
Whoo, baby, we're going to be flicking that shit. All right. Well, let's move on to everyone's favorite segment, New Week, New Main, sponsored by Bodie Pickleball. Got the Bodie trainer paddle right up there. Just throwing it out there. If you need overgrips, tungsten tape, sleeves, edge guard tape, apparel, book sacks, bags, some other stuff, you can use code PURSUIT when purchasing anything on BodiePerformance.com. Thank you, Bodie, for sponsoring New Week, New Main. Justin, it's a new week. You got a tournament coming up this week. Just pull out your Volair shift.
New week, 2 mains.
Two mains.
I'm just this Volair shift and then the Hirachi X Power 2.
Yep.
I am just stuck between these two. I mean, lucky for me, they are really easy to go back and forth between. Oh, shoot. But yeah, so the shift is dual approved. So it's USAP and UPA, so I can use it in any tournament. The 11.624 like retired by is UPA only. So I'm able to use this in 3 of the 4 tournaments.
Nice.
So last week, it was like 1A and 1B, and the 11.624 was 1A. And the Volair was 1B. I was like, I'll play with this when I have to in the USAP tournament. It's kind of backwards now. The Volair's 1A, the Hirachi is 1B. And I've been playing with them a lot more. Dude, the spin on the 11.624 on the shots that we talked about is really addicting.
Yeah.
But on serves and drives and returns, I actually don't really notice a spin difference on either. Like the shift rips spin on big serves. Like I can have dipping, kicking serves, whatever. So I don't really have a problem there. Even like on, I guess, like drips and harder drops, it's mostly at the kitchen where I notice a difference in spin. But the shift compared to the Hirachi, now this is a hybrid compared to an elongated. So the twist weight is significantly higher. And the swing weight is a little bit lower. But the overall feel, and to me, what I translate as like the forgiveness, the sweet spot, is better. And it's more of my preferred feel. It's like soft and dense, or I'd say I wouldn't call it soft, in between soft and stiff, but dense. And you can really feel a lot of pocketing. Whereas the 11.624 is more crisp. I wouldn't particularly call it stiff, but it's more of that crisp feel, which isn't my particular preference. They both have great handles. The handle length is basically identical between the two of them, super comfortable. So it's hard to decide. But yeah, I think when I'm playing, I think about the paddle less when I play with the shift because it just feels exactly like I want it to feel. That's it.
We've talked about that a lot.
Addicting. That spin is addicting, and if it wasn't for the hex grit, this wouldn't even be in the equation. But that hex grit is addicting, so it keeps me just keeping it in the bag. Maybe I pull it out between. But like I said, lucky for me, I can go back and forth between these two with like no adjustment because and real quick, this surprised me. I wouldn't have expected this. Tell me if you expect this. But the power and pop, the shift is actually more powerful.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
But the 11.624 is slightly more poppy.
That does surprise me.
Yeah, just a hair. I noticed it more.
Play with them.
Counters and stuff
side by side.
And counters and resets, but like drives and serves and stuff, the shift actually hits harder, which I didn't expect. But it's not a big difference. But the profiles are slightly different. And then for shoes, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, whenever I was maining the shift, I vividly remember being like, "Damn, this is like almost loco level powers. Like it is
hard. Like
hits hard." Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
shoes.
I think maybe it doesn't get the buzz about like the power, but it hits pretty damn hard. And maybe people don't think that because it's not extremely poppy. So it's. But anyway, shoes. I kind of went back. This is like a new main, but it's an old main. Back on the CG2s, the Cocos. This new colorway I just got for $60. I know. I know, right? I wore these for 14 months. I like 8 different pairs, but
you were rocking Cocos and Flare Prime X for a long
time. So what happened is I kind of strained my calf or my Achilles a couple weeks back, and then I was doing PT, and I was like, ugh. And if you remember, when I first started wearing the CG2s in the first place, it was right after I had a little tear in my Achilles. And these are just like so extremely protective around your ankle and your heel, and they just really lock in your midfoot and rear foot super well. They also have a good amount of like torsional rigidity and the right amount of stiffness. They're just really protective shoes. So as I was easing back into playing with this little strain, I was like, I'm going to wear some of my CG2s. I had a pair. And I put them on and I was like, oh yeah, it just felt really comfortable and I felt really secure in the shoe. And then I was like, damn, these are good. Now I remember. Now my calf is feeling perfectly fine, but I found the new pair for $60 and they look pretty sexy. You can't really tell on camera, but this is like a light purple.
All right, send me the link. I'll buy some.
You've worn them before, right?
No.
I can't believe we never tried them.
I know.
But yeah, now I've been wearing more speed shoes. I realize these are definitely not speed shoes. They are on the more maximal end, but they feel just good, dude. They just feel like your feet are just protected and, perfect. But they're quick enough. They're not like bricks or anything.
I probably had 5 or 6 people be like, yeah, dude, I tried the Cocos from Justin's recommendation. They're awesome. I have never had anybody be like, they sucked.
No, there was one person in Louisiana who came up and talked to us. I can't remember, but
was it James?
He was wearing the white and yellow ones, maybe.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, I got these. And I was like, oh, cool. Do you like them? He was like, this is my second session in, dude. He was like, I think I hate them. I was like, that's fine. I was like, everybody's feet are different, And he was like, I felt like
feet
bad for telling
different.
you that. And I was like, yeah, no, it's all good. Everybody's feet and, everything is totally different from person to person. So it's very personalized.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, it's all good. He was like, I felt like I was going to hurt your feelings for not liking him. But there have been a couple people who hate them. But I mean, I think that's going to be true with any shoe. You're not going to find one shoe that fits everybody perfect.
No, can't be perfect. So. Yeah. All right. Well, new week. Not surprising. Same main. 11624, Hirachi X, Power 2. Every time I pick this paddle up after testing another paddle, I'm like, it's back in my hands.
What's your weight setup? Everybody always asks.
4 and I think it's 4 1/4 or 4.5 inches. Let me actually measure it for.
You should know what 4.5 inches looks like.
That's like 10 inches. 4 inches. Wow. It is 4 inches on the side. That's underwhelming. We won't tell anybody that. And I put it basically for anybody who's listening. As soon as the side of the edge guard becomes flat, I start it there and go upwards. And it usually
same as what I did.
Yeah, ends right around the
3.5
X on the Hirachi X of the face. But
yours is higher. Okay.
Yeah. So great weight setup. My unit was 113 swing weight, so I had plenty of room to work with in terms of. Yeah. I don't even know what my swing weight is right now, but
you had a light boy.
Yeah, I got a light one, baby. Yeah. And this one has, and I wanted to touch on this. People have been saying they have heard, probably like a handful of people have said that they've had disc bonding issues. I've played so much pickleball with this, I haven't had any issues. It seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, but a lot of the disc bonding issues happen very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you'll
either already disbonded or it happens within like the first warm up or game or whatever. It's it's a manufacturing issue that I think they're already taking from everything. Look, you can see on the the PB Studio Discord. David, the owner, he's very active. He's talking about it. So I'll just repeat some of the things he said. I'm not breaking news here, but they're already doing some steps at the manufacturing to catch those early, and some additional testing to, if one's going to disc bomb within the first 5 minutes, let's go ahead and make that happen before we even ship it, you know? So they are doing some different things to mitigate it. And he's talked about it. It's still like, I think what he said was like under 2% of paddles or something like that.
Okay, so yeah.
I'm talking about a small number. This is much smaller than what it was back in the day with core crushing. But hey, I mean, it's still an issue that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, this is my second one that I've put time on with no disc bonding. However, I did have a vapor early on that disc bonded within the first session. And David took care of it. All good. But so I have seen what it's like. And yeah, you will know right away. The sound completely changes, and one side feels totally different than the other side. And if it's bad enough, you would just like literally feel it like a bubble. You just like be able to like push it up and down like bubble, bubble, bubble. Like you feel it's disconnected from the core. But they've been taking care of people, and everyone who's talked about it online has apparently got their replacement really fast, and they're addressing it. So it's not something I'd be concerned about. If you hear about it, it's definitely not a reason to not buy the paddle. That's what I would say.
No. I think there are far more paddles out there with much bigger flaws.
Every honeycomb paddle, basically.
Yeah, won't even say the names. All right, so new week, new main shoes. Still rocking the Blue Shield Tornado 3s.
You're gonna be locked in on those for a while.
I ain't switching. Maybe the Cuckoos. Who knows? Send me that link.
You want me to send you the link for real?
I'll buy them. Yeah. All right. What size do I need? Women's 13 if I'm a 11?
Yeah, you got to go up 1.5. Yeah.
1.5. Okay. So 12.5. Okay. All right. Yeah. I usually wear 11. All right. Let's move on to NERDTOWN, bro. Like I said, we don't have a lot to talk about. We got a lot of crap to talk about, a few things. So NERDTOWN, Justin, take it away, beautiful.
You know the sad part about that is he can't even hear it because
I know, but I can
I'm talking to him on my headphone.
Oh, it's so
I'm talking to my headphone and the noise cancels. Okay, dude. All right. It's about to be show and tell. I've got all kinds of stuff for this one.
Can't wait.
So this was a highly requested NERDTOWN, and it's going to be about people. Yeah, you're already yawning. Stomping their paddles. There's this. Yeah. It's a trend, honestly, that started with Rafa. You know, PB Sex.
Frickin' Rafa.
He put out a video about it.
Just kidding. We love Rafa. Rafa's a good friend. So
yeah, Rafa's cool.
Nobody goes shit on Rafa.
And he took the video down.
He did. Yeah.
So let me be clear right from the top. I do not recommend this. You should not stomp on your paddles, and I'm about to tell you why. Basically, I'm about to say what it actually does. There are a few things that I'll have to kind of explain before showing, because I dissected some paddles. I have some other stuff that I'll show. But firstly, if it's a honeycomb paddle, definitely don't stomp on it ever. You're just going to crush the honeycomb. It's stupid. Yeah. So let's get that out of the way. Most of what these people are talking about stomping paddles, or they're calling it stomping. Obviously, it's really more like lightly pushing with your heel around the perimeter. But mostly people are talking about doing it with floating foam cores. And the prevailing theory is, and this is what I've seen people say now multiple times, is that when you have a floating core, you have your central core, and then you have the foam ring around the outside, is that whenever you use your heel and stomp on the paddle around the perimeter, you're just accelerating the break-in process that would happen naturally. And what you're doing is having this outer foam ring versus the inner core, and you are essentially breaking the glue between them and separating these cores. Okay, so that's the theory that I've seen people say. Okay, now one other thing I want to explain before I kind of show you some things, because this will come into play. Carbon fiber or composites, so it could be fiberglass or anything, the way that it's made is that it's a fiber, so like carbon fiber or fiberglass in this case, and it is impregnated with a resin, epoxy in this case. So imagine taking a fiber, a dry fiber, like you see the strands, and soaking it all the way through with a wet resin. Now, that new sheet, this is how they make it. It's like a sticky, wet sheet. They call it like a wet layup. And then they will lay those wet sheets together, right? And then press them together and then cook that They cook it basically under pressure and heat, take it to a temperature where the epoxy cures. The epoxy is no longer wet. It cures into a hard, essentially glue. That's what the resin is. Okay. But it's brittle. It's epoxy. It's like a hard glue. So that's how the layups are made. So that's the faces of the paddle. That's how the different parts in the paddle are made. And we're going to kind of get into that. So I'll show you a couple things real quick. This is a dissection of a random paddle, but this is a floating foam core. And you can actually see there's the black EPP in the middle. This white around the edge is the EVA. And then there's this yellow foam. And that is like the expanding edge foam. And that is in all paddles since Gen 2. And if you look real close, you can actually see there's a black line between the white EVA and the expanding edge foam. Well, that is because that expanding edge foam is wrapped in a carbon fiber sheet. And I think John Q was the first one to say this, but I like how he said it. He called it like a sushi roll foam. So yeah, imagine a really thin sheet, like tape of carbon fiber. The foam goes in the inside and then it's rolled up like a little doobie, you know? So the outside is carbon fiber and it's like this wet little kind of string, like tape, and then they lay it around the outside. The purpose of that from a manufacturing point is not just specific to paddles. They use this in all type of products, is that they put that around the edge. When they heat it in the mold, the steel mold, which is a negative shape of the paddle, that foam then expands and pushes out into all the corners of the mold. And it creates the shape. It makes sure that the, paddle fills out the mold because it's going to expand. And then as it's expanding, it's taking its little sushi roll of carbon fiber with it all the way to the edge. And that is soaked in epoxy. So that becomes a carbon fiber edge seam. It bonds to the faces on either side. There's usually an extra piece of carbon fiber wrapped around the outside, like an edge seam. It bonds to that. It bonds everything together. It becomes this, kind of frame around the edge, but it's not super structural. It's kind of structural. But the point of it is to fill out the mold and to bond everything together. Okay. Pause. I'm going to go get one of my first show and tell items. You can do this with editing magic, but I'll be right back.
We're back.
Okay. Through the magic of editing. All right, here we go. I made a little science experiment, show and tell. So what this is just a rag that I soaked in water and then wrapped around a little paper towel thing and then froze. Because this is essentially the same concept, right? This is a fiber, in this case cotton, that was impregnated with, we'll call it a resin, which is just water that hardened and cured. So you can imagine this would be like a large version of the tube here, and then it would be filled with foam. Well, we have to not use the voice ISO effect here on the podcast so you can hear this. This is firm, like this is solid right now, but watch what happens when you squish it. It crunches, it crackles, whatever, but now it's completely lost its structure. Like a second ago, I could have whacked you with it, but when you look, it's even falling apart now. I didn't do that. So just keep this in mind because this is an analog for what is happening with this sushi roll foam. And this is actually what's happening when you stomp paddles. And I got a couple examples that I'll show that can kind of prove this concept. But most of these paddles have that around the perimeter. And when you stomp on these paddles and the people are saying, oh, you want to hear that crackle, that crunch, that's what you're hearing. You're squishing the edge foam like that. And it's crunching. And then it's losing a lot of its structure, right? Well, like I said before, the purpose of that thing is to fill out the mold, of course. But what it does in a complete paddle is it actually holds everything together. One face to the other face, the faces to the edge seam, all that stuff is being held together. And sure, it will loosen up over time, but totally smashing it does make it way less structural. And then now the edges of the paddle do allow for more movement. So in a perfectly controlled scenario, if you could smash all this edge foam just as much as you wanted without damaging any other part of the paddle, you probably would make your paddle feel a little softer, maybe have a touch more deflection and or dwell, and you would lose a little bit of pop because you lose a bit of stiffness. However, that is nearly impossible to control, and especially when you're just using your damn heel and putting a paddle on the ground. And the danger of this is that like I said, this is holding everything together. So there's the top face, the bottom face, the foam is in between, and then there's an edge seam here. And the edge guard covers all this. But as you're stomping it, it's very likely that this face pulls away from the edge seam. Now you've lost some stability, and what that will cause is dead spots near that side. And it can pull this face away. It can do all kinds of things, because in the same way that edge foam tube is, impregnated with epoxy, so are the faces. So the faces are pretty stiff, but as you bend them more than they would normally bend from playing, you are crackling that epoxy, and sure, it's softening it up, but guess what? It's also, that epoxy is part of the equation that keeps the face glued to the core. So as you crackle this glue, crackle, it's going to lose its effectiveness, and you could also cause disbonding. So the risks highly outweigh the reward, and it's just also very likely that you're going to mess something up that you don't want to. And I've stomped a lot of paddles now for science, and I'm telling you that, like, I'm not kidding. I know what I'm doing, and I've done it before. I've done it in the vise. I've done it with my foot, all this different stuff. Like 60% of them break. So not a chance you should take. Also, it completely voids your warranty. It might change your paddle in a way, and that you don't like. It's going to hurt the longevity of your paddle. Now to kind of talk about, how do I know this and what did I see on the dissections, I'll show you a couple things. First, we'll talk about the foam ring separating from the center core. Check this paddle out. This is a paddle, I'm going to not show this side, that you all know. It's an MPP floating paddle with the EVA outside. Don't worry about this. That's just me tearing it up. But do you see how there's a giant gap between the EVA and the MPP? I don't know if you can pick that up. That was not from stomping. MPP shrinks, so does EVA. So as these shrunk, they pulled apart, and there's a little gap. And that's totally normal, by the way. A lot of paddles have this. Well, guess what? This paddle crunched and crackled like crazy when I was stomping on it. So it certainly wasn't the foam separating. The foam was already separate. And by the way, these foams are never glued together in the first place. So anyone who says it's the glue between the foams, no, they're never glued together. They're just laid in there. So that's wrong. But there is, you can't really see it in this configuration. Maybe if I pull this away, but there is that yellow edge foam in here. So that's what was crunching and crackling like crazy. The EVA kind of expands over. It's a little bit hard to see when you dissect it this way. But so this is a paddle that crunched and crackled like crazy. Foam clearly was not separating. It was already separate. The foams were never glued together in the first place. Okay. So that's Exhibit A. Exhibit B, this is actually a shift, a Valair shift, or a pre-production one. This paddle, the foams are touching, still not glued together. This paddle did not crackle at all. I stomped it a bunch. And you know why? The shift does not have the sushi roll edge foam in it. It has a different carbon-infused, denser black edge foam that doesn't have the wrapped sushi roll. So it doesn't crunch it doesn't crackle, and it's just not there. And the foam here, you can see where it's kind of separated. I did this after the fact myself because I was trying to see, but all the places where I stomped it actually didn't separate the foam from the main core. And there is a little bit of glue that sits right on top. So maybe the very top layer of this EVA and the top layer of this EPP are kind of glued together just through the top. But once you go down into the actual core of the paddle, they're not glued together. They never are. Like I said, they're just laid in there. So you're not separating that. And even if you were just separating the top layer, that's not going to do much. And you should be worried because that same top layer of glue is what's holding the core to the face. So you're likely just going to cause potential disbonding. Oh, man. I think that's all.
Don't stomp your paddles is what you're trying to say.
No, don't stomp the paddles. If you stomp your paddles, you're probably just going to break them.
Yeah.
Okay, there's also something to be said for every paddle. I mean, every paddle ever breaks in or softens up. And I'm not talking about crazy break in, the paddles that just keep changing. I'm talking about, we've known this. There's like that new paddle feel, like a little bit stiff for any paddle. And then within like 2 hours, you're like, oh, okay, it kind of softened up a little bit. That's totally normal. That happens with anything and everything. We've talked about this before. You drive a new car off the lot, it might be kind of squeaky, and then things settle, and you're like, okay, cool. So probably shouldn't call it breaking in. We should call that like settling. If you want to settle your paddle before playing, which whatever, you should just play with it. But if you want to do that, just hit drives for like 10 or 15 minutes. That's it. Yeah. Like get a friend and be like, hey dude, can we just like play singles or just like hit warm up drives back and forth, make sure you're switching your paddle in your hand so you're not just hitting one side. That's it. That's all you have to do. And then that will settle it. And I know this because there are multiple pros, and for them, every little margin matters. And they change paddles a lot because they change for the grit and they get a lot of them, and they don't necessarily love them to feel brand new. So what they do is they just hit drives back and forth. Or sometimes they even have people that they know and trust and play with, like in their hometown. They'll be like, hey, dude, do you mind like breaking this in for me? Just have someone play like a session, 2 hours with it, hit some drives with it, whatever, drill with it, whatever it may be, and then get it back. So you don't need to go to these extents. You're not really gaining much, to be honest, that you wouldn't gain just from playing with it. And it's far too risky. And I think you're actually hurting the structure of the paddle in ways that people don't understand. So I don't recommend it, put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it always seemed a little goofy to me the first time I watched that. No shade at, Rafa. But it just never seemed like, oh yeah, let me go crack the face of this paddle. That's going to be good for it.
And the origin of this, by the way, Rafa learned it from somewhere.
Yeah, it's not Rafa's idea. Yeah, me too.
And the origin of it was, hey, this is how you can cheat a deflection test. Because basically a new paddle can be stiffer, and then if you break down the perimeter structure, of course it deflects more, and now it would fail the deflection test, but it passed new. But that's being taken into account, like UPA, when they do their certification, they have something called ABI, it's advanced break-in, and they have a machine for it now, but initially one of the first ways they were figuring out how to do it was brutal. Similar to stomping.
But they use the original device. The vice grip,
the vice of death.
Do a quarter turn.
Was the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, grab it. Right here where people are stomping on the vice, they'll put it in the vice, squish it down to these various places, and then also kind of move it around. And you hear the same crinkling and crackling. Those paddles don't always play great or test great after that.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
But I understand why they're doing it. They're trying to prevent any paddle that has an illegal break-in. So yeah, break-in is bad. If a paddle is breaking in significantly and changing significantly, that just means it is breaking. If a paddle settles in, that's okay. But it needs to settle in and stop and then stay there. That's appropriate. All right. That was it. So, that's the Stomping NERDTOWN.
Next week, Justin Maines, the YOLO Pro 5.
Oh, definitely don't stomp a honeycomb paddle. You are literally just going to crush the honeycomb. It's so stupid.
Yep. And I mean, it's, in theory, this is something I've always thought made sense, but it's basically a domino effect at that point with honeycomb. Like you're going to just continue moving that crushed cells are just going to continue to eke into the center of the paddle. So, I mean, it's really not a theory anymore. I mean, YOLO literally confirmed that, which is why they did the carbon seam for their Pro 5.
It's more like, domino effect is a good way to put it. It's more like a cascade because it grows in severity.
Interesting.
Like a small, you crush, just the edge foam. Well, now that the edge foam is crushed and it's not supporting the faces in the same way, now all of a sudden the honeycomb has to support, and it doesn't do that well. So then it slightly crushes. And then when this part crushes, now the next part crushes faster and faster and faster. So,
okay. That makes sense.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of things break that way. That's a pretty normal failure mode. It's not specific to honeycomb, but
right.
Yeah. But yeah, with foam, it's more of a concern of disbonding. And also the thing that people don't talk about and maybe don't understand is the structure of the edge of a paddle. And when you start to separate the face from the edge seam or separate all this from the kind of sushi roll foam that's in there holding everything together, it's really pressed it up tight. And you start to break all that apart. Well, no wonder it feels dead towards the edge now. You lost all the structure there. And you really need that structure around the edge of a paddle to, support when you hit a ball near that. Anyway, well.
Dude, great show and tell.
I know. Had to get in the damn lab and dissect a bunch of paddles, and I did some even more dissections just to make sure.
Just
I had
this all for y'all.
Versions of the same. I still have a carbon splinter in my hand just for you guys.
Damn, bro. You even still get them carbon splinters. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're annoying. They itch.
I bet. Yeah, I don't dissect paddles just because there's already too many people who do it, and
that's not your thing.
Yeah, it's not. That's not my lane. I'm
your
here to
thing
make
is
jokes.
This paddle good.
This paddle good. This paddle bad.
This paddle good. This paddle under $100.
It's kind of funny. Sometimes people will like ask me stuff in person. They're like, "Why don't you ever go into this much detail?" I'm like, "Because it doesn't matter. Like, you don't need to know all these things. It's not that important."
I appreciate your style. It fills a niche, you know.
But it is very informative. So people like John and Chris, it is important. Yeah, Dustin. Yeah, it is important information, but it's not necessarily the most important thing for paddle buying, in my opinion. But that's why people are subscribed to them and not me. So, all right. Anything else, man?
Yeah. On that note, do you ever feel like asking for subscribers? Because you ain't got no subscribers, bro. This is just a tiny channel. But we never say,
I probably should.
Hey, subscribe to the channel.
You know, I started doing some short form stuff, and it's really, I just got to stop being a little baby, dude, and just start doing it. Hey, guys.
Subscribe if you want to see this next month or whatever.
Yeah. I need to start asking.
Actually, different topic, but whenever I'm watching YouTube, whenever people say like subscribe right at the top of a video, I'm like, yeah, but whenever people like make a good video and then towards the end, they're like, hey, if you've watched this far and if you've appreciated this, I make content like this all the time. Yeah. So, please subscribe. It costs you nothing. It helps me. I'm like, all right, you know what? I have watched this far and I did like the video.
You know what? Just put it in. Just put it in.
I'll just click it. But yeah, whenever people are like, welcome to the channel, smash that like and subscribe button. I'm like, all right, I'm out. I won't even watch the video. I'm out.
Oh, that was good. That was really good. Yeah, it's a little cringy to me to like go that far. But yeah, I probably should start doing that at the end of the videos. It does help. It does help a lot, and I always tell people about my promo code at the end of the video because it does tremendously help me. It literally allows me to do this, and what's the harm in asking for a subscriber when they've watched 4 minutes of a 4-minute video.
Remember, guys, don't make your foam limp.
Yeah, don't make your foam limp. Nobody likes anything limp.
No, you got it.
Yep.
No stomping.
If it is limp, you can't Slamopus. So we are done. That's it.
Later.
Peace, guys. Hit us with any comments you got in the comment section, any topics you want us to cover. We'll see y'all. Peace.